The Fiil Plus app is now available in English, and it supports the T1 Pros and the new Fiil CC Pros, plus the new Fiil T2 Pros. This is going to be fun.
Welcome to Sozen Gadgets. If you're new here, consider subscribing to learn weekly about great new earbuds, headphones, and gadgets. Also, hit that notification bell so you're notified when I make new Zen gadget reviews every week.
Welcome to Sozen's Gadgets, where today I'll be reviewing the Fiil CC Pro specs, their sound quality, microphone quality, and the Fiil Plus app for Android phones. A few months ago, when the CC Pros came out, the US version of the app didn't support Android devices. It didn't support Android users at all. If you wanted to do anything with the app to open up full mode on the controls, you had to download the Chinese version of the app. But today, in 2022, the Fiil Plus app does support the CC Pros. It also supports the T1 Pros and even the new T2 Pros. That is huge news because, like many Fiil earbuds like the CC Pros included, they benefit a lot from having full access to the app. And if you can't read it, it's because it's in Chinese, it doesn't really help you very much. So this feels pretty good to just download the app off the Android store, set up your earbuds, and go. Now, before I get too far into the app, let's take a look at these CC Pros. In typical Fiil fashion, these are designed with a really sleek kind of designer theme. The case is super minimalistic, it's cool, and dare I say it's kind of classy looking, with the Fiil logo itself acting as the charging status indicator light. It's small, it charges via USB-C or wirelessly, and the buds will last 6.5 hours per charge and up to 30 hours using the case. Now, on first trying to get the buds out of the case, it's a little bit difficult, but if you follow the instructions in the user manual where you put your finger and press on the ear tip, you'll have no issues getting them in and out of the case. And once you find the right size ear tips of the multiple included ear tips that they give you in the package, the CC Pros will fit very comfortably in your ear. They're really light and they're comfortable. I think the squared off edges give them a look that sets them apart from the run-of-the-mill stem style earbuds. And you know, that microphone on the end of the stem is actually functional in a lot of ways. So besides how they look, for about 55 bucks, these are really, really heavily feature packed. Let's run it down a little bit here. They support AAC for high definition audio. They work well for movies. They have completely acceptable latency on Netflix, Prime Video. And if you use the app, which I am highly recommending that you do, there's also a low latency mode in the app to give you a better movie and even gaming experience. They've got excellent Bluetooth 5.2 capabilities, and that means that they're going to connect to your device as soon as you open the case. They're IPX4 rated, and both the left and the right earbuds support true mono mode, meaning you can hear both left and right audio out of either singular earbud. Plus, they have in-ear detection that works, and they have multiple ANC modes, like for voices, for full transparency, for full ANC, or for wind suppression, which is pretty cool. Now, let me get back to talking about the Fiil Plus app. Like all Fiil earbuds that include app support, they come out of the box with their touch controls configured for easy mode. Now, easy mode simply means that the controls themselves don't do a lot of things. They just default to letting you play, pause, and switch the ANC on and off and the ambient mode on and off. That's it. But fire up the app, put the CC Pros into full touch control mode, and they're going to give you access to all the ANC modes: play, pause, previous, next track, volume up and down, and voice assistant access. And once you get used to where you have to touch the buds on the kind of tip of this rectangular stem, they actually work pretty well. And when you do use them, there's clear English prompts for most commands, which I think is a nice touch. Now, there's a host of other features in the app as well, and they have many, many EQ modes. I think there's over 10. Plus, there's a fully user customizable EQ setting. You have that low latency mode. You can configure which ANC modes are on or off and which earbud, the left or the right, selects them. Now, if I was to ding the Fiil Plus app and could suggest a feature or two for Fiil on the app, it'd be, you gotta have low latency mode as a touch control. I do not want to go into the app to have to turn low latency on or off. I know that they're giving you a lot of warnings about turning it on and it could cause you some compatibility issues, But I think a lot of other earbud manufacturers are making this work out of the box. And Fiil, who's regularly updating that app, obviously, because they gave us support for the Fiil CC Pros, should update their app to include low latency mode, or at least a user configurable option to select low latency as a mode that's enabled via touch commands. The other thing I'll say about the Fiil Plus app is that it's always in memory. Once you turn it on, the only way to get it out of memory is to go into your Android app settings and force stop it. I don't really like that. When I leave the app, I just want it to come off. I think why they probably do that is that when you turn your earbuds on and off, the app will automatically be running and reconnect to it. But I personally don't really like that stuck around in memory once I turn it on, kind of in perpetuity. And I do also suggest that Fiil give us the option to tell the earbuds what the controls should do. Because as much as I like the touch controls on these, and I like that they give us the ability to turn on the full controls, they are a little bit unique to Fiil in that the left earbud controls the volume up and down, and the right earbud controls previous and next tracks. And it takes a little bit of a while to get used to that. So other than the touch controls, I really like to be able to change the EQ settings via touch controls as well. The 10 plus EQ settings are great, but it would be awesome to be able to select a few of them to be able to control via touch control and not have to go into the app. Man, it is a full-featured app, however. And the ANC and the EQ modes work really well on these earbuds. Fiil claims a 39 decibel noise reduction with the ANC on. That's top specifications these days, and it seems to me like Fiil's doing a much better job with ANC than they did on last year's T1 Pros, which otherwise sounded amazing. There's no comparison from an ANC perspective. And not only that, but the CC Pro's ANC has multiple settings, right? You can turn it on so that you have wind suppression mode, which does just that. It just does a nice job from the wind making any noise while you're wearing these. Other earbuds that don't have hybrid ANC have a problem with that. And their full ANC, again rated at minus 39 decibels, is strong enough to be useful on a bus, a train, or even a plane. And they have, for the transparency modes, they have this pretty cool voice mode, which still blocks out a lot of peripheral noise but lets voices through. And they have, of course, the full open mode, which works to let through all the sounds around you. And I find that useful for walking or jogging outside. It's just a useful feature to have if and when you need it. And since they're including it in here with the awesome ANC, I say it's a definite benefit. Next, let's check out the mics on the CC Pros.
Hey everybody, this is a test of the Fiil CC Pro True Wireless Earbuds. This is a great set of earbuds meant for actually having 6 microphones for making phone calls that are going to sound great. It is windy. Okay, windy mode is on. I switched, I cycled, and it was pretty easy to do. These controls work well when you're wearing them, but I have noticed in trying to test them and try to use the controls when they're not in my ears, the controls are a little bit harder to use. So you do need to have a pretty solid test on them with your finger, right along the seam of that stem, which is a really interesting looking design choice from Fiil. And they connect to your device as soon as you open the case. They have true mono mode, so you can listen to left and right audio out of just one of the earbuds, if that's what you need to do, which is a really nice feature.
All right, based on that test, it seems to me like the CC Pros did a really good job of picking up my voice with traffic in the background. I didn't get the sense they were tremendously reducing the sound of the background noise, but they definitely were picking up my voice very well. But you heard it. You let me know what you think of the mics on the CC Pros in the comments. All right, now let me talk about what you all want to know about, right? It's sound quality. Okay, if you're using the app, well, this is really simple. There's nothing that these earbuds can't do. The variety of EQ settings plus the fully custom EQ settings in the app are going to let you tune these however you like. And they are capable of super powerful bass, really brilliant highs, and solid mids. Now, their out-of-the-box EQ settings aren't typical for Fiil earbuds. So I will tell you that, like the T1X, the T1XS, and even the T1 Pro were all tuned for this bright top end and like a lot of clarity in the vocals in the mids, but a lot less on the bass side. The Fiil CC Pros are much more tuned for heavier bass with bright top ends, not as bright as any of the other Fiil earbuds that I mentioned, but they are bright highs. And the mids and the vocals, what happens with them on these, because the bass is so powerful, the bass can actually block them out a little bit because the bass is just really powerful on the out-of-the-box EQ settings. But fire up the Fiil Plus app, adjust the EQ, like I said, to however you like it with one of the 10 out of the box or your custom EQ settings, and you're going to be able to pick up whatever kind of sound you want along with a nice wide sound stage, and you're going to really enjoy the overall sound experience. So if you're willing to use that app, and what I would recommend is just set up the app on another phone that you don't use primarily, one that probably doesn't have access to like all of your information and your accounts and everything, and just use that app to turn on full control, set the EQ to your liking, and go from there. Reconnect the earbuds to your real primary phone and go. Because overall, if you're using the app, I highly recommend these. It's a great pair of earbuds for under 75 bucks with this set of features and the looks of them, the cool looking case, the wireless charging case, the in-ear detect, the great ANC, the multiple EQ settings, and that is just a ton of features for under 75 bucks. Now, if you're not going to use the app, you're going to be stuck in that easy control mode, which is probably fine for 85% of the people. Let's face it, my wife would never bother to use anything but easy control mode. It would be just simpler for her. But you are going to be stuck with an untypical Fiil EQ setting with a lot more bass, more like an earphone product, right, than a Fiil product. And that's the way the tune's going to set up. Very consumer friendly, I would say. And look, that wraps up my review of the Fiil CC Pros. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and see you next time on Sozen's Gadgets.